Hey guys, in today's video, we're gonna talk about the perfect backswing. I'm gonna show you the 3 things you need for the perfect backswing and 1 drill you can do to combine them all together. Let's get started. I wanna talk to you today about live view golf. Now you guys hear me say all the time that you need feedback when you're practicing. You need to know if you're actually doing what you're trying to do, and the best way to give yourself feedback ultimately is video. And not only is video the best way to give yourself feedback, but being able to see yourself simultaneously as you're doing a movement is the best form of video feedback. It's the best way I've seen to make changes in your swing and be able to correlate the differences between your feels and your reels. Live view is super easy to use and set up. Simply set it up behind or in front of you. You connect it with your iPad or phone, pop that on the ground. You can actually do your practice, see yourself as you're doing it, the best way to expedite your process. I encourage you guys to check out Live View Golf. We'll put a link in the description down below with a coupon code. Hey guys, Eric here out at the Bethlehem Golf Club. Now, in today's video, we're gonna talk about the perfect backswing. Now, when I look at backswing, to me, you can really categorize it in 2 different sections or parts. One of those would be how your body works, and the other one would be how the arms, hands, club work, right? So sort of, we'll call it club is part of it and body is part of it. In today's video, we're gonna focus on the body motions. Now, this is nice because what we're gonna talk about here, what I'm gonna show you is 1 drill you can do to get all 3 things we're gonna talk about for 1, right? So we're gonna focus on the body motion. The body motion during the backswing, if I'm gonna look at today from sort of your torso motion, so from belt line up, how is my body supposed to work to create the perfect backswing? There's 3 things that we're gonna focus on, and there's 1 golden checkpoint. So 3 things, 1 checkpoint, 1 drill. 3 things, universally, we all do during our backswing that we have to coordinate, and I'll show you how. Number 1 is we have to turn, right? So there's gotta be some amount of turn during my backswing. Number 2 is there has to be some amount of tilt. So we're gonna be tilting towards the left, right, for a right-handed golfer, towards the target, which I'll show you, that's number 2. And then number 3 is we have to extend, which is from the down the line camera, my chest working up towards the sky. So every golfer, at certain degrees, at certain amounts, is gonna do those 3 things. They're gonna turn, number 1, they're gonna tilt, number 2, and they're gonna extend, number 3. Now, the beautiful part of this is like, hey Eric, how much do I do of each one? When do I do each one? And what I want you to think about before I tell you the checkpoint is I'd like you to do all 3 of those essentially simultaneously at the same exact rate throughout the entire backswing. So that's quite easy, isn't it? It's not, hey, why don't we turn a little first? Then let's tilt a little, and then why don't we extend a little, right? Or hey, why don't we extend a little, then we'll turn, then we'll tilt. Rather than any of that, we're just gonna be doing all 3 of those, and we're gonna do them at the same rate. Now here's the beautiful part of this. For years and years and years, when I would coach people through this, and I look from face on, I say, hey, you should do this to the degree that your head stays in the circle. That's literally the checkpoint for all 3 of these. How much side bend should I have? How much turn should I have? How much extension should I have? You should have each amount to the point where when you make your backswing, you make a full swing and your head stays in the circle it started with from both face on and down the line. So to show you what I mean, let's imagine we've got a circle around my head here. If I overdid any one of those 3, let's see what happens. Let's say I overdo the turning part. I have too much turn. Do you see what can happen there with my head? Now, let's say I have too much tilt. This will be easier to see. Let's say I tilt too much to the left. See how my head goes towards the target? Too much tilt. Let's say I also have too much extension. Also a motion that's gonna get me too far towards the target. If I've got too much tilt, I can go too far this way, my head works forward, or from the down the line angle, it could work down and forward. So too much of that left side bend, my head works out of the circle towards it or down and forward. Too much extension, my head's gonna work towards the target. Generally speaking, too much turn, my head will work off of the wall, right? Now there's also not enoughs. What if I don't have enough of each one of these pieces? If I don't have enough side bend, consider my head on the circle again, my head's gonna work off the circle this way, right? If I don't have enough extension from the face on, my head in the circle is gonna work off this way. So the point being, there could be like 9 ways you could mess it up, But there's one way to make sure you do it correctly, and that's head in the circle. Now, I went down and spent a half day with Andy Plummer this summer, and what he pointed out with this, which I think is an even easier way actually to think about, is this: you just draw a dot sort of at the base of your neck, right at the bottom of your neck there. When you go back, because I said, Andy, how do you communicate to someone how much to tilt, how much to turn, how much to extend? And he said, that dot that's on your neck from face on and down the line should stay there the whole time. And I thought, what a beautiful, beautiful way to say it, because I always say head in the circle, but imagine the dot there. So this is how you know, hey, I've got too much turn, too much tilt, too much extension, or the perfect amount is by simply keeping the dot there. So when you record yourself from face on down the line, you get 2 golden checkpoints here. Draw a circle around your head, keep it in it, okay? Keep it in it, it's always the solution. Or draw a dot on your neck and then keep that dot there. Now, that's the information. There's 3 things with your body, right? That's how you measure whether you've done it correctly or not, universally. Now there's one drill you could tie this all in. I'm gonna show you that next. All right guys, so here's the drill how you could put all 3 of these together. Turn, tilt, extend for the perfect backswing. The perfect backswing, again, by definition, is I'm able to make a full length backswing while keeping my head in the circle, right? While doing all 3 of those and keeping that dot on the center of my neck the same. That'd be perfect. Now, this is the drill I like. I've got a alignment rod through a bucket. Obviously, if you're on grass, you could put a stick there. And the stick is just outside the ball target line, if this is my ball target line. So it's just outside of it. You can put it about 1 inch outside. And I have it roughly even with my right foot. So from this angle, how far back behind the ball should I put it? Roughly even with my right foot. I'm actually gonna put that back slightly more. And it's just outside the ball target line. So even my right foot, just outside the ball target. Now I'm gonna use this to give me indication of all 3 of those. I take a second alignment rod, put it across my shoulders. So I've got all of it sticking out to the left. Now, I'm gonna get normal or just slightly closer to the ball than I traditionally would when I'm doing this drill. And what I wanna do is I wanna get this stick to hit the stick here on the side, outside of the ball. Call that stick number 2. Now, me hitting the stick or not controls the first variable. That'd be rotation or turn. So how do I know if I turn enough? Well, I want my shoulders to turn about 90 degrees. This would be 0. It's about 45. It's about 90, right? So if I'm talking about an iron swing here, you know, that's gonna turn 90 like that. Once I get up to driver, that can go a little longer, maybe 100, 110, but for the purpose of a stock swing, I want that about 90. That's why it's even with my right foot, so I wanna hit the stick. Now, if I don't turn enough, what happens? I don't get back to the stick, right? If I do turn enough, I get back to that point and feel like, wow, that's hardly nothing. I'm gonna go way beyond that, right? So that's part 1. Now, part 2, the tilt is gonna determine how far down on the stick I hit. So for me, if I go back and I've got a good amount of tilt, I wanna hit the stick about halfway down. So what I'm looking in terms of tilt, or what's correct, is about, again, 90 degrees. This time I want my shoulders to tilt about 90 degrees to my back line. That'd be a good amount of tilt. So I've turned my shoulders 90 degrees and I'm tilting them 90 degrees. So turn 90 degrees back and tilted them 90 to my shoulder. Now, obviously, the farther down the stick I go, the more tilt I would get. If I have no tilt, that's gonna be very high, right? Maybe even above the stick, depending upon how high it is. That's part 2. Now, part 3, and the last part, is the extension part. That's this piece, right? Now, I can determine that by where my chest points relative to the ground. So here, if I go back, let's just do it this way, if I have a lot of extension, that would point way up towards the sky. No extension would be down towards the ground. So as I'm doing this little drill here, I can note if I had my chest down towards the ground here, that would be no bueno, right? My shirt buttons are pointed down towards the ground. My head moved way outside of my circle. Not a good backswing. What I want to have happen is my chest point roughly even with the ground. So I've turned 90, I'm tilted halfway down, and my chest points straight like this, or slightly up, but basically level with the ground is what we're looking for. So one more time here, turn 90, hit halfway down, chest is level with the ground. Turn 90, hit halfway down, chest is level with the ground. Now, as I'm doing this, of course, making my perfect backswing, a little shift going on in my right foot, feel a little bit of pressure back towards my right heel. I don't mind if the left heel lifts up a little. I don't mind if the left knee kicks in a little. I'm allowing my belt buckle to turn to be able to do this. Right, there's some legs changing. There's other things going on, but in terms of my torso, this would be the drill that I want to get to feel the correct body motion. And then again, when I go back and check this, how do I know if I'm doing it correctly? I'm looking at video or the mirror. I draw a circle around my head it stays right in it with a full swing. Or draw that dot on your neck, same exact feedback. So those are the 3 motions. That's the perfect backswing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, we're gonna put a card on the screen for a similar style video. As always, we'll put cogornogolf.com. I would love to work with you, help you improve your game there.